now early June 2020. A lot has happened this year. It hasn't been a lot of fun for pretty much everybody. So I thought I'd do something to try and turn it around. I bought an AE86. It might just look like an ordinary old Levin coupe, but there is something special about this car that made me buy it. There's a hint. The standard 4-cylinder 16-valve 4AGE has been swapped out with a Beams 3SGE from a Japanese market Toyota Altezza. Now, any normal person would say, that's great. It's a newer engine, it probably makes more power, so why not want that engine? Well, I've just always been of the attitude that if you're gonna drive a car like this, you should drive it with the original engine. But this was too good to resist. Instead of going through the car first and looking at all the things on it and the features and the things wrong with it and what's good and bad about it, I thought I'd just do the Australian thing and take it out for a drive straight away. I hope it doesn't break. Batteryちょっと緩かった? Okay, well maybe we should just check the safety things first. I think it's alright. Do you think it's okay to drive?
Yes, it's okay.
It's okay? Good.
No problem.
No problem. Maybe.
Good luck.
Here's the first problem. We can't turn off the hazard lights. As soon as we plug in the battery, the hazard lights come on no matter what. I hope that's not a warning. なんか車注意してって言ってる. Yeah. Yeah, the car's warning us. Yeah, be careful. All right. Alrighty. Yeah, something I've already noticed about the door is it doesn't shut properly. Alright, because the bottom of it is rusty, so you gotta kind of lift it up to close it. Okay, not the best position. Alright, here we go. Oh, I wonder what the gearing is on the back. Let's close that. Maybe open this up a bit. There we go. I can see the tire through the firewall. Okay, this might not be a good car for the rain. There's stuff flying up. Okay. Actually, I'm just thinking I should have the window open a little bit. For carbon monoxide purposes. Hang on, I've got to put the seat up a bit. I'm way too far away from the... I'm too far away from the steering wheel. Brakes. Okay, that's right, I remember now, it doesn't have a brake booster, it's manual brakes, so I have to push really hard. Alright, here we go. Let's use the handbrake. Handbrake doesn't work at all. Early, got to brake really hard. Oh my god. There we go. Woo! Oh god, I don't trust those tires on the outside. I've already gone off the track on the outside twice. Yeah, I'm done.
アレクシ大丈夫か？
ちょっとアンダー。
何が起きた？
いや、わかる。ちょっとアンダーです。See, if I close it normally, it doesn't close. So I have to reach out, lift it up, and close it.
ダメだこれ。
Yeah, I was warned the dampers are probably bad, and yeah, I think they are.
見た目通りボロいね。
Ah, what's wrong?
ステーリングレスポンスがすごい悪いね。
Yeah, I know. Well, that explains my crash.
これはね、アレクシ悪くないね、クラッシュ。
Oh, okay. Well, I feel better now. What have I done? So I think we need to take it in there and have a bit of a better look at it, because there's some things that are good about it, but there's a lot that aren't. That's apparent. It's a steel bonnet, but they've gutted all these parts of it, so it's got no structural integrity, and also this rust just sagging like it's a fiberglass bonnet. Jeez, look at that. So here's the oil pan, and it sits lower than the standard cross member. And Morita just pointed out, it looks like I actually hit the sump a little bit on that last crash, so I've got to be careful about that.
Do you have a cooling duct?
A cooling duct, which is right where my foot is for the accelerator. Also, there's that hole right there, which is right in front of where all the electronics are. So I don't think this is going to be a wet weather car. ブレーキは何でしょう？
ああ、そうだね。アダプターを作って。
So that means I probably can't run anything smaller than these 15s on the front, which is a bit of a shame, but at least, well, I mean, we know the brakes work because they locked up. So there's a custom cross member for the transmission. And yeah, it's like modified Altezza mount. Okay. It's like he's bent it here to bend it out of the way. So yeah, it's very homemade. So it's got AE86 engine mounts, and where is it? It's kind of hard to see, but there's like a welded bracket there.
でも多分アルテッツァのうまく使ってやってる感じだよね。うん。結構細かいことはやってあるよね。いろいろ。
Alright, so he's adapted the standard exhaust downpipe here to this amazing job, which I'm not going to talk shit about because I can probably not weld even that good. So pipe back to here, very homemade, to this exhaust, which is like some sort of random, exhaust. So the rack is still じゃあ純正で
これ純正だね。
パワーステじゃない方だから。
そうで、ただシャフトとあれを
つけた。
こっちがアルテッツァでつけてるだけ。
はい。Yeah.
軽量化。
It's just bits flying off. And the rear end is just A86. It's rusty, but it works. Oh wow, look at that hole. Yep. On this side too. Yeah. See, this is one of these things that I think the previous owner used to probably work on racing cars. Because look, on this garbage here, he's got an actual lock wire on the exhaust hanger. Like that's a habit that only someone who used to work on high-level cars would have, right? Oh, and Morita just spotted these too. Look, he's spot welded the seam there on the bottom. This is the weirdest car, man. This is so weird. You never really see a car like this. If you're wondering why I brought the car here to Morita-san at Novo Eyes, that's why. He's an A86 guy, so If there's anyone who can help me out with this, it's him. Yeah, okay, that's not that great.
まああとはダンパー終わってたね。
Alright, well, that could be the reason why the front end handles so badly. Leaking damper.
ツバメのうんこみたいなのがついてる。
There's been some attempts at welding there. So it looks like this is a Civic caliper. Almost 100% sure. Big brakes on the front, which means you have to run a 15. There we go. You can see the seat through the hole. Let's have a look at the interior because there's a lot to see in here. So first of all, I paid for a lot of air with the door. Right, normally there's meant to be a piece of metal here joining the door skin and the actual door itself. That's not there. This is the seat. It's some German brand, D&W, made by Recaro, it looks like. It's just all turning to powder. I need to get rid of this. As you can see, it's really high off the floor pan. So I'll need to swap that out for some sort of full bucket in order to keep my head off the roof and give me a bit more space to the steering. So here's the steering wheel. You can see that this is all Altezza stuff here. It has the tilting steering wheel, which is nice, but the downside of this is it's not positioned very well. From where I'm sitting here, as you can see on the video before, I was leaning all the way forward and just controlling it with my fingertips, which is sort of one of the reasons why I crashed, because I didn't have very good control over it. So unfortunately, I think I might need to take off the Altezza steering wheel. I know it's kind of cool to have, you know, swapped over, but I think that's got to go. It's also got the Altezza gauges, which is pretty cool. The tacho and the speedo. I think the speedo, I don't know about the speedo, I didn't check, but the tacho works. There's another hole there. The tunnel has been beaten to hell to fit the gearbox. But this is all pretty neat. Like it's all been, you know, tied up out of the way. There's no real big, like, loose hanging wires or anything. So, you know, it was done all right. See, there's like a little bracket here to hold the gauge cluster in. Stock AE86 seat. There's the battery over there and fuse box. So what he's done is essentially swap the entire Altezza front end wiring, computer and everything. And even though it doesn't have aircon, this panel's in here too. And more rust. Maybe I shouldn't be touching it. I'm probably never going to need headlights at this racetrack. Also, it's got the, in my opinion, coolest rear end, the Zenk 11. I think these are the coolest taillights of the lot. Is there what's in the door pocket? Some sort of rubber thing. Another bolt. Gorkai Katsu Beautiful. 4AG Heroes. Street Fighter. Okay, sticker. Oh, that's, yeah, I need that. The fuse panel. Oh, it's a hero card for Sagisaka from D1 Grand Prix. Let's see what's in the ashtray. Money and cigarettes. 10, 12, 14, 16, 17 yen, a safety pin, and a cigarette and a small screw. Look at, oh, it's the rubber piece. Look at this. It's like literally, like the rubber is holding the metal to the door. I paid money for this. Look at this. There you go, the door skin's being held on with a cable tie on this side. Here's all the crud I swept off the lift. Here's the rust that makes most people cringe. Look at that. 取れたよこれ。Yeah, like you can see, yeah, that whole wheel well's rusted out. That's all rusty. All right, and also over here. Yeah, not ideal. Trunk area, not ideal. Although it does come with these Enki AP racing wheels. Also on the back. And those are too small for the front. And on the front we've got some SSR meshes. So the guy who built this managed to fit pretty much everything from the engine bay of an Altezza in the engine bay of this car. Got the ECU box and a bunch of other electronics over here. It's got the stock radiator here as well, which has a thermofan from the factory. And this big 90-degree pipe here with the airflow meter and an aftermarket filter. And it looks remarkably good. I'd prefer a 4AG with big trumpets sticking out of it, but for now I'll run this. So I bought another AE86, and some of you might be thinking, what about the Skyline? What about the Mark II? Well, when something like this comes up, you just have to grab it, because literally everyone who has ever owned an 86 and sold it regrets that decision. And I really do regret selling my old red one, which I bought for a ridiculously small amount of money and also sold for a very small amount of money compared to how expensive these are these days. And I actually sat down and did the math, and if I'd have kept that car in the paid car park I kept it at and paid for that the whole time without even driving it, I would have saved money instead of buying a new one. Why is such an old rusty piece of junk that cool? I don't know. Anyway, we're coming up on 500,000 subs, so make sure you sub if you like this kind of content. Also, twitch.tv, I live stream on there. I could be live right now, check the link down below. Also, Instagram and all that sort of stuff. Also, edit this bit in. Thank you to Scudama Circuit for letting me come out here and tear up their track. I was like 1 meter from disaster. As always, thanks for watching. See you next time. AG engine has been swapped out for a